Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from Esports bringing you another 1v1 Starcraft 2 cast today. Excellent. This is Core Hall Compound, but more importantly, our players. Let's introduce them. So, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Terran, who is GGPNeumo. I think Pneumo. Excellent. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Jamesykins, who is our orange Zerg. Jamesykins is actually the uploader of this game, so big thanks to him. Nice playing right there. And this is a High Masters game from the European servers. Excellent. Yeah, cool. And of course, it is a TVZ. So let's quickly get to a pressing matter. Pneumo. Okay, I'm going to call him Pneumo. I'm sorry if that's wrong, but I'm going to presume that's right. Okay? Okay. Good luck, have fun, good game from Pneumo. Jamesykins giving a nice kind of eyebrows up. Good luck, have fun face. Excellent. And of course, we do see Pneumo blocking his ramp, just like many Terrans do like to do against Zerg players, in order to stop any crazy 6-pull or early pull tactics, for that matter, happening in their face. And we will probably see Jamesykins expand at any moment now, because he is getting high on minerals, and this drone is coming out onto the low ground and patrolling back and forth as well. Excellent. So as I have previously stated, this is Core Hall Compound, a map that I find kind of funny, I'm not going to lie. It's got this big bowl in the middle, as you can clearly see. And I never know with this map, really, when I personally play on it, what the correct plan of attack should be. I mean, if they hold this Zelnaga watchtower, in order to not get detected when you go for an attack, you really need to loop around the entire map. And that can be, well, it takes a long time, compared to just strolling over the middle. But of course, if you just stroll over the middle, your opponent will definitely know you're coming, and then you could be in barrel loads of trouble, especially if they get their positioning right. Yeah, that could be a problem. So we do have Pneumo at the moment scouting Jamesykins' basing. He's got his gas and pull up at the same time, which is a pretty standard kind of build right there. Pretty economically safe. Not bad at all. And also the hatchery is down currently as well. Now we do have a nice early expand from Pneumo as well, which is something that some Terrans do like to do against Zerg players, and it's pretty commendable. It's quite brave, really, but I mean, Pneumo does know that there isn't anything too crazy on the way. He has done his scouting correctly, and he doesn't really have too much to be worried about at the moment, so he has got away with his early expand, I would say. He is also putting down a bunker just to be safe and all of that jazz. Now, what will be interesting to see what kind of build Pneumo goes. I mean, he has just put down 2 more barracks, so it looks at the moment like it could be a thoroughly bio-orientated build. Many Terrans do like to just go mech against Zerg, because it's a lot harder for them to deal with. But, I mean, he is only just getting his refineries down right now, so maybe he will be transitioning into a more mechish play as soon as this base becomes functionable. Or at least that is what we can expect. Jamesykins having a little poke and seeing that Pneumo has actually expanded right now, and running the Zerglings away. Meanwhile, this Marine has the terrifying task of going to have a look at the Zelnaga watchtower and see what is happening out there on this little pedestal. It's almost like a rock concert, and all the fans would be here and here, but there are no fans in StarCraft 2, only death, as these Zerglings have just learnt. By the bunkers that are nicely sat inside. The Marines that are nicely sat inside the bunker. There we go. Wow, I got my words almost the wrong way around, but I stopped and changed that just at the last minute, and obviously nobody noticed. Okay, so we do have the supply depot coming down that does indicate that maybe Pneumo is actually going to be walling off the front of his base as well, and that's very good, of course, to stop any crazy Ling run-bys or anything like that from happening. And it also makes both of his mineral lines a little bit more resistant to things like Baneling attacks and stuff like that. Metabolic boost is just finished for Jamesykins right now, which of course increases the movement speed for Zerglings, and is pretty instrumental, really. You don't really see many Zergs going forward in the game without getting that. And we have 2 reactors on the way being added on to these barracks from Pneumo right now. So, I mean, if Jamesykins goes Banelings, PNeumo better hope that his split micro is pretty good, but it doesn't look like Jamesykins is going Banelings just yet, or maybe not at all. That'll be interesting. We have a nice macro hatch on the way for Jamesykins right now, so we might see quite a large army coming out from him fairly soon, especially if he is undisturbed. Roach is out now as well, and Roaches are very, very good against Marines, because Marines are the unit of the light armoured variety, and Roaches do very, very well against them indeed, especially seeing as they are actually armoured units as well. They're pretty hard to take down. You really need some Marauders to do this. To my knowledge, in fact, let's just have a look. Nope, PNeumo does not actually have any Marauders on the map at the moment. But that's not, it's not necessarily detrimental to him. This bunker is itself being bunkered in, actually. I thought that it was just going to be confined there, but nope, it's being kind of bunkered in itself quite nicely. That Overlord just going down there for Jamesykins, and here we have these Roaches look like they're going to come for a little pokey or a pushy just to see what is going on, and actually they can just take down that supply depot at maximum range like that, and ooh, there we go. We do have the supply depots folding down into their kind of lunchbox mode, where you can walk over the top of them, enabling the Marines to be more accessible and aggressive, and the stim is just finishing right now for PNeumo as well. So that's pretty good as well. And it looks like he is actually probably going to be moving out around the time that his stim finishes, so it's going to be a nice stim timing, maybe from PNeumo right now. I mean, it would be probably a reasonable time to push, actually. It would probably be better if he got some medvacs out, which are definitely on the way, as I say that. And he is gone, and he is starting to take his third base right now as well. Excellent. So we got lots of Zerglings on the field, complemented by some Roaches as well. But, I mean, this amount of Marines and Marauders, well, Marines mainly, oh, it does look like PNeumo's actually going to go for a drop, you know? It does look like that. So that is one medevac looking like it is going to the main of Jamesykins, and one medevac looking like it is probably going to the third, which is pretty nice. But one thing about Zerg is, I think Jamesykins has seen it coming or something, because quite a lot of the Zerglings are positioned over here in his main base as well. But one thing, back to my point, one thing about Zerg is obviously if you are creep spreading correctly, like Jamesykins is, then you can have really, really little problems reinforcing your armies and stuff. This medvac is actually being really cheeky and has found a really good place to drop. Meanwhile, back at the front, these Marines here are getting cleared up very, very quickly by that large Zergling force. And over here in the third of Jamesykins, these Marines are actually going to town, but it doesn't look like they can just get back straight back into the medvac and survive. That's if the medvac gets away, and he does. Meanwhile, there is a small force in the back of Jamesykins' base from PNeumo right now, and it does look like it's going to be heading into the mineral line to do as much damage as humanly possible. So pretty nice, well-structured attack here from PNeumo, which has almost definitely kept Jamesykins at least on his toes. So that's not bad, really. I mean, PNeumo did actually lose a reasonable amount of forces here that weren't being dropped, and that can be a little bit worrying, but these guys here do look like they're going to go straight back into the base right now. Meanwhile, Jamesykins looks like he's going on some sort of counter-attack to PNeumo's third base, which is about to become a planetary fortress, but it's just been cancelled and lifted off, which is a very, very good choice indeed, because the planetary fortress would nowhere near finished by the time the attack took place, and unfortunately this command center cannot land on the Zerglings, as that would be hilarious, and the Zerglings cannot jump, unfortunately there. So these Marines do look like they're going to get cleared. No? Yep, the Marines do look like they're going to get cleared up by these Zerglings. Meanwhile, there is a drop going on in Jamesykins' base, which looks like it's been completely cleared up. Indeed, probably PNeumo is a little bit concerned about what is going on at his front, but of course, players of this caliber can actually do so much at once that nothing really gets past them anyway. More Zerglings filtering in right now from Jamesykins as well, and they do look like they're going to just want to be controlling this area as much as possible. And they are looking like they are going back to base right now as well. We have the high-sec auto-tracking on the way from GGPNeumo. And it's pretty important to note, actually, because he is getting a planetary fortress, and he is getting a missile turret, and it increases the range a justifiable amount, the high-sec auto-tracking, in order to kind of, you know, help a defense enough. So it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff, really. Yes, so yes it is. So we do have Hive Tech on the way for Jamesykins right now, so we might see him transitioning into the Mighty Broodlord or the Mighty Ultralisk at some point pretty soon. Lings and Roaches just coming out here and having another little poke. I mean, I think maybe Jamesykins is presuming a little bit that GGPNeumo has re-expanded down there, as he hasn't actually seen it yet, but it's probably reasonably safe to presume. And here is a drop coming in from GGPNeumo, and they're very, very lucky they can kill off this hatchery very quickly and get back in their medevac. And there we go, it is actually cancelled, losing Jamesykins 75 minerals out of the original 300. So, you know, obviously getting the cancel is pretty damn important to Jamesykins, really, as nobody really wants to lose that many minerals. And there is some Zerglings looking like they're just scouting, and unfortunately for these particular Zerglings, they'll all get cleared up by this planetary fortress. Boom, there we go, roast Zerglings. I expect one of the SCV pilots is probably going to eat them. Meanwhile, there is a drop right up here at the top of the map by GGPNeumo, and does look like this will too get cleared up pretty quickly as well. The fungal growth's restricting the medvac's ability to get away, and infested Terrans as well look like they're going to be instrumental in taking down said medvacs. Oh, and another attack coming in here by GGPNeumo, and that is getting cleared up pretty quickly as well. All attacks by GGPNeumo are being cleared up very, very effectively by Jamesykins at the moment. I mean, he did get the cancel on this. That's absolutely fine, because you really don't lose that many minerals. Oh, but I tell you what, there we go, GGPNeumo is about to lose 300 of each mineral right now, because these medvacs do look like they're about to go down. Oh, the medvacs just about get away. The chain fungal was not quite enough, unfortunately. We do have a rather large marine army heading out of GGPNeumo's base right now with the 1-1 damage upgrades and armor upgrades. And also we have Ultralisks on the field coming out for Jamesykins right now. Also, it's worthy to point out that he is getting his adrenal glands, which increases the attack speed of Zerglings by 20%, and that can be pretty ruthless. And he is also getting his 3+ weapons upgrade as well, along with the Carapace level 3 and the chitinous plating, chitinous, I think it's chitinous, for Ultralisks. And of course that makes them pretty hard to deal with and pretty hard to kill, especially when you're a force of just Marines, because Marines don't have any sort of bonus when it comes to attacking armoured. They are just your bread and butter unit. Now these guys are looking like they're either going to do a huge drop, but more likely they are just heading home for now. But, I mean, that is GGPNeumo's entire army in these medvacs right now. Could you imagine if a fungal growth was to go down on them? That would be pretty ruthless. Yes, so yes it would. Okay, so we do have a Marine and Marauder army in the centre near this Zelnaga watchtower now. And interestingly, Jamesykins hasn't actually tried... Oh, he is trying to re-expand right now, which is entirely fair enough. Now this ground-based Zerg army is running around the place, trying to find out where GGPNeumo's army is coming out, and oh my god, GGPNeumo has actually managed to trap some infestors right here, and that is a big blow to Jamesykins, losing all of those infestors. A scan right there is going to actually take out all of the infestors, even though they are burrowed, and the infested marines are going to follow suit and go to Zergy heaven or hell, depending on which one they go to. Another drop up here attacking the hive of Jamesykins right now from GGPNeumo will get cleared up very, very quickly indeed. I mean, Jamesykins is basically capped. It is worth to point that out. And GGPNeumo, well, is quite frankly not basically capped. So all those marines could have got away, but unfortunately they just couldn't clamber inside the medvac fast enough. No infestors on the field. Well, there's 11 coming, but no infestors in this area in order to kill off that medvac. Now we do have a Spire on the way for Jamesykins, and seeing as he has a Hive, that could potentially mean Broodlords. I think there is another drop going down here, which is getting cleared up by drones and then Zerglings. And again, unfortunately, it looks like this medvac is going to get away, unfortunately, for Jamesykins. Some units there that he hasn't quite been able to take care of. But I only really think it's, 3 Marines in a medvac. It's not a big deal. This Ultralisk Cavern right here, though, is bleeding out, as it were. So he will need to be careful to protect that if he still wants Ultralisks in his composition. That is pretty certain indeed. Now we do have GGPNeumo expanding up here. In fact, it's actually a double expand, seeing he's got an expansion down here already, which can't land because this cheeky beggar has burrowed underneath the command center. And those Marines and Marauders there look like they'll get cleared up very, very quickly by the massive hulking Ultralisks and the swarming Zerglings. And this small amount of Marines and Marauders are going to take on this rather large amount of Zerg forces right now, and look like they're going to lose that battle too, unfortunately for them. Meanwhile, over here we have a drop going on at GGPNeumo's base, at Jamesykins' base either. GGPNeumo doing the drop, and this Queen is possibly going to get taken out. There we go, the Queen does go down, and that can be a nasty, nasty blow for Jamesykins, or any Zerg for that matter, when their Queens do get taken out. I mean, GGPNeumo's drop play is actually pretty solid. You know, it's very, very resilient. He is just keeping on dropping, keeping on going. These Ultralisks aren't in the best position, but with fungal growths and infested Terrans, then I think it's all going to get cleared up very, very quickly indeed. And again, another drop in the main base of Jamesykins right now. GGPNeumo really, really doing some very nice drop play at the moment. It's all working out quite nicely, the drop play that is. But I mean, in many ways I feel it's not actually harming Jamesykins that badly. He needs to get more expansions up, maybe, I think, Jamesykins, as this one is looking a little low. This one's about to run out, and there isn't one back at the main anymore. But he does have one down here in the bottom right-hand corner, which is also being assaulted. Oh god, were those Zerglings attacking that hatchery? Ooh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe my eyes deceive me. And another drop over here in the left-hand corner of the map takes down this hatchery. And at the moment, GGPNeumo is doing a very, very good job of stopping Jamesykins from expanding properly. And that is one thing that is actually pretty lethal. I mean, if you have a look at it, GGPNeumo has actually killed 41 workers of his enemy. That's quite a lot of workers. And he has actually taken down some hatcheries and stuff like that as well. But mind you, this command center over here still hasn't landed. It's just landed right now, and these SCVs have finally got a place to mine. Oh, how nice. Meanwhile, these infestors are running around the middle of the map, waiting for the next unsuspecting group of Marines or Marauders to come along. But on their own, they could make a pretty nice target for GGPNeumo. Over here, meanwhile, we do have another drop coming in from GGPNeumo, and it does look like they're going to be trying to focus down this hatchery, perhaps. Again, GGPNeumo just being really as annoying as he can be at the moment for Jamesykins, and he just does not want his Zerg opponent to expand at all. We have 10 Corruptors coming out on the field, which I dare say will definitely be made into Broodlords, as we do have a Greater Spire somewhere. There we are, the Greater Spire is just there, and the reason I say that we will probably see them turned into Broodlords is, aside from 3 Medivacs and 1 Viking, there is really no use to have Corruptors on the map at all. So we do have and those infestors are doing some good. It does actually look like they will be killing all of those Marines and Marauders pretty quickly. That Marauder there just gets finished off by one of his zombified kin. And then we go, those infestors do need to get away from there, because I'm not actually sure if the infestors are going to be able to finish all of them off just on their own, but they're doing a really good job as fungal growth there, showing how absolutely brutal it is. All of these units here, again, completely mashed. And those Marines and Marauders try it, but unfortunately they get absolutely torn to pieces by the fungal growth. There we are. So that rather large Terran army gets pulled apart pretty quickly by the infestors of Jamesykins and the Zerglings and the Ultralisks. Yes, it does. So more infestors being built right now for Jamesykins as well, which is by far and away not a bad choice. He did lose a few infestors there with that little push. The command center just here has gone down to Ultralisks and Zerglings. And here we go. Here are the Broodlords coming out onto the field. And with these Broodlords, he should be able to push the front off Guillermo very, very safely indeed, especially seeing as he's got Ultralisks as well. But this looks like it could be a massive drop coming in for Guillermo into Jamesykins' main, I'm going to say. You know, he wants to attack the infrastructure of Jamesykins, but I think Jamesykins actually has some patrolling Zerglings at the moment. So this drop is a hot drop, but I think there's going to be enough Terran units dropping in order to deflect these Zerglings. And here we go, there is a stim, and he's going to push in and try and do as much damage as he possibly can. Meanwhile, the units from Jamesykins are rushing in, trying to save their hatchery. And there is the surround from the Zerglings. It does look like these Marines and Marauders will need to get lifted off into the medevacs pretty quickly in order to save their lives. A fairly worthwhile drop there from Guillermo. Oh, but these Corruptors are going to take down these medevacs very, very quickly. And these Marines and Marauders, unfortunately for them, they have nowhere to go. And that looks like the end of their military career. And there is a GG from GGPNeumo. And Jamesykins has emerged victorious. Overall, I mean, I think this is largely one of these games that there are no really massive base engagements, but I think Guillermo was trying to harass all the way through, but Jamesykins was so on top of the harassment that it just worked out. Jamesykins kind of ran out of steam a little bit, kind of ran out of expansion locations as well. And that's all she wrote, I'm afraid. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.